she screamed. "You can't stop this project!" while pointing at my chest. And at that exact moment, bulldozers were already tearing into the dirt. Karen stood there with a smug smile, holding a clipboard like it was a badge. Behind her, 50 luxury cabins were half-framed. Wood scattered everywhere, workers frozen in confusion. She said the HOA approved everything. She said I was trespassing. Then she leaned closer and whispered, "You'll move, or I'll make sure you do." I looked at the cabins, then at the workers blocking my truck, and then at the bright red no entry sign they had just placed across the gravel road. My road. A tow truck rolled in fast like it was waiting for a signal. Karen snapped her fingers and said, "Take his vehicle! He's interfering with HOA development." My kids were in the back seat, scared and silent. One of the workers looked at me and muttered, "Man, I thought you owned this land." Karen cut him off, yelling that the land didn't matter, that the HOA had power here now. I stayed calm even when the tow hook lifted my truck an inch off the ground. I pulled out my phone and said softly, "You really picked the wrong road. Today." Karen laughed loud enough for everyone to hear. "Road?" she said. "You don't even belong here." What she didn't know was that nothing on that mountain moved without my permission. The tow driver froze when his radio crackled. Karen grabbed it and snapped, "Ignore that. Keep lifting." The driver hesitated, eyes moving from my kids to the dirt road under his boots. "Ma'am, dispatch says this road isn't listed under HOA." Karen's face tightened for half a second. Then she smiled again. "Old records," she said. "We updated everything." She turned to the workers and shouted that anyone who stopped would be fined. Fear spread fast. Hammers dropped. Engines shut off. One worker quietly told me the HOA promised bonuses if they finished before sunset. Karen heard that and laughed. "By tonight, these cabins will be worth millions," she said. "And you'll be gone." That's when 2 men showed up wearing black jackets with cheap badges. One of them said my name like he already hated me. "You're being cited for obstruction," he said. "Step away from the property." My youngest grabbed my arm. Karen crossed her arms, enjoying every second. I slowly pointed down the mountain. "How did you two get up here?" The fake cop smirked. "Same way everyone else does." I nodded. "Exactly." Karen rolled her eyes. "Enough games." She told the fake cops to put cuffs on me. One of the workers whispered, "This feels wrong." I looked straight at Karen and said the line that made her laugh even harder. "Go ahead. Shut the road down." The cuffs clicked shut cold and tight. Karen clapped once, proud like she just won a show. "Finally," she said. "Remove him." The fake cops pushed me toward the edge of the road, right where the gravel dropped into mud. My kids cried out. One worker tried to step in, but Karen screamed that he'd lose his job. Then a loud horn blasted from below the hill. Not a truck. Something heavier. The fake cops paused. Karen snapped, "Ignore it." But the sound came again, closer this time. A convoy of county vehicles climbed the road, real ones. Brown uniforms, real badges. The fake cops stepped back. One of them whispered, "This wasn't the deal." Karen's smile vanished. She started yelling about permits, about HOA authority, about how this road belonged to the development now. The lead sheriff stepped out and looked straight at me. "You all right?" he asked. I nodded. He turned to Karen. "Ma'am, why is this road blocked?" Karen pointed at me, shaking. "He's trespassing! Arrest him!" The sheriff didn't even look at her. He looked at the sign, then at the cabins, then at me. "This is County Access Road 17, he said slowly. "Privately owned." I finally spoke. By me, the air went dead quiet. Even the wind felt like it stopped. Karen laughed, sharp and nervous. "That's not possible," she said. "The HOA owns everything up here." The sheriff pulled out a folder and flipped it open. "We checked before driving up," he said. "This man owns the only access road to this mountain. Every inch." Karen's voice cracked. "Then how did we get permits?" I lifted my phone, the cuffs still on my wrists. "You didn't." I showed the sheriff the footage. Karen's fake notice on my door. The fake cops arriving, the tow truck. Her ordering my truck taken with my kids inside. The workers crowded closer, watching the screen. One of them whispered, "She lied to us." The sheriff turned to the fake cops. "Badges now!" They ran, not far. Two deputies tackled them in the dirt. Karen started backing away, bumping into unfinished cabin walls. She tried one last time. This development brings jobs. Money. You can't stop progress. I looked at the half-built cabins blocking my road. Progress doesn't get to steal, I said. The sheriff unlocked my cuffs. What do you want to do? I smiled, calm. Close the road. The sheriff raised his hand, and within minutes, orange barriers slammed down across the road. Engines died one by one. The mountain went silent. Karen screamed that she would sue everyone, that she knew people in the city. Her phone rang, then rang again. She answered, smiling at first, then her face went pale. One of the workers pointed at the cabins. What about our pay? Karen shouted that it wasn't her problem anymore. That's when another deputy walked up with a tablet. Ma'am, he said, the land under these cabins isn't HOA land. He zoomed in on the map. It's owned by a trust. Karen laughed again, desperate. Good. Then arrest him for blocking it. The deputy looked at me. Sir, name on the trust? I said it slowly so everyone could hear. My wife. Karen dropped the clipboard. She whispered, That's not fair. I leaned close just enough. You built 50 cabins on land you never owned, using a road you can't touch. Behind her, deputies started tagging each cabin with red notices. One by one, someone muttered the line that spread fast through the crowd. She built a city on someone else's road. Karen started yelling that the notices were fake, just like everything else she touched. She rushed to one cabin and tried to tear the red tag off. A deputy stopped her hand mid-air. Touch it again, he said, and you're in cuffs. That's when a black SUV pulled up behind the barriers. A woman stepped out, calm, sharp eyes, no rush in her walk. Karen squinted, then froze. You, she whispered. My wife didn't look at her right away. She looked at the cabins, the blocked road, the workers standing in shock. Then she turned to the sheriff. I'm here about the false filings, she said, and the fake HOA permits sent to the county. Karen's phone slipped from her hand. This is a setup, she cried. They planned this. My wife finally faced her. No, she said quietly. You planned it. You just didn't read the names. She held up a document. You forged signatures. You moved boundaries. You impersonated authority. One worker spoke up, shaking. She told us the owner approved everything. My wife nodded. The owner did. She looked at me. He just never approved her. Karen backed up, tripped over loose wood, and fell hard into the dirt. As deputies pulled her up, she screamed the line that made everyone stare. You can't do this to me. I'm HOA! Karen kept screaming as the deputies pulled her up. Her perfect hair was full of dirt now. The workers watched in silence, while one deputy read the charges out loud, impersonating. Authority, fraud, false police report, child endangerment. Each word hit harder than the last. Karen kept shaking her head, saying it was a misunderstanding, saying the HOA would protect her. Then the sheriff held up another phone. We just got something, he said. Multiple complaints. Same HOA, same woman. Faces in the crowd changed. One worker whispered that his cousin lost his house because of her fines. Another said she towed his car for parking in his own driveway. Karen's voice broke. I was just doing my job. My wife stepped closer. No, she said. You were stealing power and calling it rules. The deputies finally put cuffs on Karen. Real ones this time. As they walked her toward the car, she turned and yelled at me, eyes full of hate. You think this is over? I looked at the 50 cabins, blocked and silent, and answered calmly. It hasn't even started. Karen was pushed into the back of the car, still yelling, still blaming everyone but herself. The door slammed shut. The sound echoed across the mountain. Workers slowly packed their tools. Some shook my hand. Some just nodded, ashamed they believed her. The sheriff pulled the barriers tighter and turned to me. This road stays closed, he said, until you say otherwise. I looked at my kids, finally calm, finally smiling again. By sunset, the cabins looked empty and small, like they never belonged there. Red notices flapped in the wind. No power, no water, no access, just quiet. My wife stood next to me and said, people forget something. What? I asked. She smiled. Freedom isn't given by an HOA. I looked down the road I built, the land I protected. and said the line that stayed with everyone who heard it. I didn't block a road. I defended my home. The road stayed locked that night. News vans showed up by morning. Cameras pointed at the cabins, the red notices, and the sign with my name on it. Karen's face was everywhere by noon, not smiling anymore. People kept asking why I didn't stop them earlier. I gave the same answer every time. I wanted the truth to walk out on its own. By the end of the week, the HOA was under investigation. The cabins were ordered to be removed. Every fine Karen ever gave was reversed. Families got their money back. I stood on the road at sunset with my kids, watching the mountain breathe again. And I said the line that closed it all: you can build whatever you want. But if you don't own the road, you're never in control.